The ERi-TV news broadcast crew and I, Delit Sahaye, are now ready for your daily news briefing at 10:30 local time. But first, let us catch up with the major headlines. President Isaias Afwerki held talks with President Putin. Training in linguistics provided to members of Ministry of Information. Conflict killed over 180 people since May in India. And Typhoon Kursi have triggered landslides. On our local news, President Isaias Afwerki met with the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, yesterday evening, July 28, for extensive discussion on bilateral ties and international matters of mutual importance. At the meeting, President Isaias Afwerki elaborated on defunct policies of the global hegemony, containment, and illicit sanctions by Western powers. President Isaias also underlined the importance of robust cooperation between Russia and Global South in struggle against the defunct unipolar world order. On bilateral cooperation, President Isaias Afwerki stated that Eritrea has finalized comprehensive strategic plan with focus on human capital. President Vladimir Putin, on his part, expressed Russia's readiness to enhance and expand relations and partnership with Eritrea. Present at the meeting were Foreign Minister Osman Saleh and Eritrea's Ambassador to Russia, Mr. Petros Tsagay, from Eritrean side, Mr. Sergei Lavrov, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation, Mr. Mikhail Bogdanov, Deputy Prime Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Dmitry Peskov, Press Secretary for the Russian President, and Mr. Igor Mozgo, Russian Ambassador to Eritrea from the Russian side. Similarly, President Isaias Afwerki and his delegation earlier met with the Russian Minister of Science and Higher Education, Valery Falkov, on cooperation in sector of upgrading the bilateral agreement reached on 2018. President Isaias also met and held talks with Igor Lavitini, aide of President Putin, in cooperation with the wider trade logistics. The two sides also agreed to hold regular talks between their respective foreign minister and report added. Moreover, President Isaias and his delegation met in the afternoon hours of today, July 29, with the deputy chairperson of the Russian State Duma, the lower house of the Russian parliament, Dmitry Savalyev. Mr. Savalyev thanked Eritrea on its position to Ukraine conflict and announced the forthcoming visit of the Duma delegation to Eritrea. President Isaias Afwerki and his delegation also visited Park Plant for helicopter repairs in the morning hours of today. Training in the linguistics and language standardization has been provided to members of Ministry of Information, including 42 writers and script editors. The training was provided by Professor Tesfai Tolde, lecturer and researcher in the linguistic and Semitic language of University of Florence, Italy. The 4-week training program included, among others, the scientific study of the language, the importance of process of language standardization, the comparative study of language standardization, the process and journey of bringing about standard Tigrinya language, significance of linguistics in the development of standardization of the language, the impact of pre-Semitic language, the structure and phonetics of ancient alphabets and their relations to contemporary alphabets, the characteristics of structural relations in Semitic language, the impact of Afro-Asian language. Professor Tesfai underlined the significance of language standardization in the process of creating national identity as well as in overall development of education sector, media and society. Participants also discussed the book Standard Language for Mass Media, a book prepared by the Ministry of Information in 2006, and reached a common understanding on the improvement of some of the content of the book. At the conclusion of the training, Mr. Mokria Woldu, Director General of External Service in the Ministry of Information, commending Professor Tesfai for his contribution, said that the training program was unique because it expanded the participants' understanding of linguistic and language standardization. Professor Tesfai on his part indicated that he was able to gain constructive information from discussions held and commended the trainees for the interest and participation they demonstrated during the training period. "52 veterans from 16 subzones in Gashbarka region received capacity upgrading training from Ministry of Agriculture on July 15 to 19. The training program covered various topics, including diseases that humans can contract from animals and the value studying in connections between diseases that affect both domestic and wild animals, the traditional treatment of farm animals, and significance of immunization programs for animals. Mr. Barhat Haptai, the lecturer at the Hamal Malo College of Agriculture and specialist in traditional remedies, urged farmers to treat their animals scientifically in accordance with professional guidance. Mr. Ali Ibrahim, assistant lecturer in animal resource at the college, called for concrete effort to enhance the understanding of agricultural professionals and farmers in preventing the animal diseases, particularly zoonotic diseases that are naturally transmittable from animals to humans. Dear viewers, we'll be back with the international news shortly. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. A 1-mile stretch of highway in the lush green foothills of India's Manipur state has become a symbol of vicious dogmatic conflict that has killed over 180 people since May. Fighters from the Métis community and the Kuki tribals have dug into bunkers and outposts along the highway and other places in Manipur state. Regularly fire each other with assault weapons, snipers, rifles, and pistols, security official and village said. The bitter fighting between the two ethnic groups who used to live in peacefully side by side began early May after a state high court ordered the government to consider extending economic benefits reserved for the Kuki tribal to the Métis. Tens of thousands of people have fled their homes because of the fightings, and villages have set on fire and many women have sexually been assaulted. Residents and the media reporters said the Kuki, who are third of the Métis population, have borne an even effect on the violence and make up 2/3 of the victims, according to the new government data reviewed by Reuters this week. They have mostly fled to hills, leaving the capital, Imphal, and surrounding valleys around the dominated by the majority of Métis. There is no sign of an early resolution. On our last news, torrents caused by Typhoon Dokursi have triggered landslides in the part of China, and rescue operations got underway on Saturday as the national forecasters warned a broad area encompassing the capital could use rainforest disasters in the next 3 days. A cumulative rainfall of 100 millimeters and more is on forecast over 220,000 square kilometers, potentially affecting 130 people, and forecast said. Over the weekend, small and medium-sized rivers in the southern Beijing, central and western areas of Hebei, eastern part of Shanxi, and the western areas of Henan would swell above the warning levels, while flash floods and geological hazards could occur around the mountainous area. Doksuri was the most powerful typhoon to hit China this year and second strongest to hit the southeastern province of Fujian since Typhoon Maranti in 2016. It forced the closure of schools and businesses and evacuation of workers from offshore oil and gas fields, state media said. Dear viewers, we've come to the end of tonight's news. Let's have a quick recap of the major headlines. President Saforki held talks with President Putin. Training on linguistics for members of Ministry of Information. Conflict killed over 180 people since May in India. and Typhoon Doksuri have triggered landslides in China. That will be all with our local and international news, dear viewers. Thanks for joining us and have a good night.